AA, AK, Maylays. Big Sad got him a hit right there for the summer. He got that DMX sample up in that thing right there. That should be going. But I don't know. I be kind of torn between Big Sad's music. You know what I mean? Because, you know, his music be hard than a motherfucker, and he's a real motherfucker, like to the core. But like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, it be fucking me up. And I don't know, in today's world, right? I guess we selective politic where we want selective politic. Like, you know, you can't hold just anybody to the motherfucking code 24/7 no more in these days. Like, this motherfucking, like, you know, if you did that, you couldn't fuck with nothing. You know what I mean? Everybody be motherfucking sour to some degree, right? But, you know, the video we gonna cover today ain't a video of mine. I'm just gonna react to it. It's by 16 to Life. Oh boy, he done did a big stretch, like the name says, 16 to Life in the California penitentiary. He's free, got a fire YouTube channel. If y'all ain't already subscribed, make sure y'all go over there and show him some love. Hit that subscribe button and peep out some of his videos, because he's really a good storyteller, narrator, and so forth. But, you know, over the last weekend, there was the issue with Jim Jones, right? And Jim Jones got jumped in the airport, and come to find out, they're not going to press charges against Jim Jones or against the perpetrators, and the perpetrators happen to be white in there. One's an old man, and then the other acted as like a good Samaritan. But, you know, they stay white, and I know how that shit goes. Motherfuckers like, oh, they should have got charges and so forth, and.
I don't think Jim Jones is snitching. I think that he was in an altercation in the police. Being a black man, seeing the white man and the black man getting into it, they automatically rushed on him. When in fact, no, it was two of them against him, bro. He got assaulted, bro. Jim Jones was a victim here. I don't think this is snitching. Nope.
Jim Jones, at the end of that video, he made statements against both of these white people, right? Now, when it comes down to the comments, and I've been, you know, I look at the comments of the video, seen it online and shit, and it seems like, you know, once again, selective politic, and all the civilians have an idea or a definition of what snitching is. And when it comes to something like this, that's racial and so forth, you know, of course, you know what I mean? Like, everybody says, tell on him. He gets a pass for telling. He should point the finger out immediately. But, you know, at the end of the day, telling is telling, though. And I mean, if Jim Jones was a civilian, and that's what everybody says, he should be a civilian in this matter, but he about to get on a rap track. He probably in the booth right now, spit some gangster shit about motherfucking pistols, motherfucking all kinds of criminal lifestyle and all kinds of shit. He gonna sell that to the world, to your kids, to everybody at large, right? And we supposed to buy that and go along with who he identifies in his music as. But in real life, where do we separate the shit from? Because real life is real life, and most rappers, they live by their rep, right? So if you live by your rep, and your rep can't be, you know, authenticated by seeing pieces like this happen, you ain't real. We went into, did Jim Jones snitch or not? And yeah, he snitched because Jim Jones is a self-proclaimed gang member. He's a blood. And if you're a gang member, we all know the rules of the street apply to you. And when you go to prison, those rules apply still. You can't get away with any of that shit in the streets. If he had did that to somebody in the streets and it'd be over. I get the racial part, but if he had did that in the pen, he couldn't get no pass on that. There'd be a jacket on him for the rest of his life. But, you know, the internet, right? Every civilian has an idea of what snitching is and what snitching should be. I mean, these comments are just full and flooded with everybody's opinion. It's hilarious, but, you know, if there is still rules and regulations, anything out there, he done broke those already over. But the video we gonna watch is the breakdown by 16 to Life about, can a gang member tell on a civilian? Let's give it a watch.
And so you guys clearly heard him saying over and over, they assaulted me. They assaulted me. Both of them assaulted me. Damn, Jim Jones, shut the hell up, man. They heard you the first time. Now that's crazy, right? Because I think I seen somewhere where Jim Jones was affiliated with some Bloods up out of New York or whatever. And so I guess the question is, if a person is a gang member and he does this, would he still be considered good in the eyes of other gang members? And absolutely not. First and foremost, regardless of who a gang member has an encounter with, a physical altercation, even an altercation where there's gunplay, the first and biggest enemy overall is the police. Under no circumstances, regardless of the situation, is a gang member supposed to cooperate in any shape, form, or fashion with law enforcement. For example, I'm sure you guys have heard many times when a gang member will get shot by another gang member, and he clearly knows who shot him, but in the event he comes to court, and sometimes he may intentionally come to court to help out the other gang member, even though in some situations the gang member who shot him is an opposing gang member from a rival neighborhood. He'll come to court, he'll testify, and he'll say, no, I'm clearly familiar with that dude, and he's not the one who shot me. I'm 100% sure that dude is not the one who shot me. Those are the circumstances that a person sets for himself when he agrees and voluntarily becomes a gang member. Sometimes, you have to accept the punches, whether they're good or bad. You have to roll with the punches, right? So a person may ask, okay, well, hey, chill, what was Jim Jones' options in a situation like that? Well, okay, so his options is, first and foremost, right, he can hope and pray that law enforcement saw him being assaulted and jumped on by two people, and they just deal with the situation. His second option may also be just to remain quiet and hope that a spectator or somebody saw that he was being jumped by two people, and they'll come and they'll speak, and he'll be freed that way. The third option, of course, is in the event that they didn't see him getting jumped, or nobody is speaking up, or the police just want to be difficult and take him to jail, possibly because he's a gang member, he's a rapper, he's black, whatever the case may be. His third and worst option is, then you just got to roll with the punches. You just got to be quiet. You got to hire a lawyer and hope that he can obtain the video footage, because we got to keep in mind in this day and age, especially in an airport, there's going to be video footage, right? So he will definitely be able to free himself from that position eventually. Maybe he didn't want to be inconvenienced with taking a trip downtown, maybe waiting 14 hours to get booked in and booked out of the jail in whatever city he was in. I believe maybe in Florida somewhere or something. So he chose to go to holler, I was assaulted, they assaulted me, both of them assaulted me. Like I say, once again, bad move. You box yourself in certain positions in ways that you can and cannot deal with law enforcement when you voluntarily choose to become a gang member. And it's unfortunate, how maybe you may stop gang banging, you may stop moving like that, but you still limited on what is acceptable in saying to the police, right? And what he done was clearly unacceptable for anybody that wanted to be considered an upstanding gang member, right? Once again, let me bounce over to 6ix9ine, right?
So this should be a message right here for all you young cats out there. When you voluntarily join a gang, right? You ain't born into it. Your family ain't it, but you voluntarily, and even for the cats who actually is born into it, ultimately, when you are voluntarily in the gang, you have signed up for all these rules, and you can't change these rules when it's convenient for you. And that's the cold kicker for a lot of you cats out there, because y'all think being gangster, right, is out here popping your pistol, riding on motherfuckers, bullying, being on some motherfucking, but ultimately, that's not gangster. When that motherfucking cop gets you and you get to singing on your homeboys, or you get to taking a deal and telling on even your dead relatives and shit like that, like all that shit took your gangster card out the window. We see that shit all the motherfucking time. And you signed up for this shit. Didn't nobody else put you in this position but you. So now when shit get hard, that's when it's going to find out, is you really a gangster? Is you gangster to the core? And believe me, that's why I be on here talking about the penitentiary, because I know a lot of you young cats out there, y'all swear y'all that guy. Y'all swear that's who you is. But I'm telling you, man, when the times really change and when you can't get out of jail, you can't bond out, and you stuck, and you go back into that world where they just throw everybody else away, man, they got something waiting on your ass back there that's really gonna let you know where you stand. You got a hierarchy of motherfucking criminals and gang members and all that shit. You're gonna know where you stand. And I guarantee a lot of you young motherfuckers is not up top. Y'all not in the middle. Y'all down at the bottom right here. Believe me, you're gonna keep crashing out. You're gonna keep running into walls. Motherfuckers gonna keep running you into the wall. And that's what you do when you voluntarily join a gang. You just run yourself into a wall over and over again. Just pound your head for no fucking reason. The motherfucking wall's there, man. Go around that shit. You need to figure out where else your lane is at, because that right there is not your lane.
A lot of people, the rapper who got caught up in the case and then he started telling. And I've heard a lot of times that people try to use the concept that he wasn't a real gang member, and so it was okay for him to tell. Well, you know, contrary to what people may say or believe, right? Why wasn't he a real gang member? Now, say he had kept his mouth shut. He hadn't told, he would have went to jail, got a bunch of time, or whatever he was facing. Then people would have said, oh yeah, that dude was a real gang member. When a person stands up and stays 10 toes down in the most difficult situation is what determines whether he's a real gang member or not, you know. It's easy, or much easier, to shoot at people, to beat people up, to commit crimes, you know, especially when you may happen to outnumber or outgun the person that you're attacking. But the difficult thing is the make or break factor is when you get arrested, when you get handcuffed, when you sit in that cell and they telling you that you're looking at the next 10 to 15 years or possibly a life sentence. Those are the things that make a real gang member. You know, so for anyone to use the excuse that, oh man, this dude wasn't a gang member, they plucked him from wherever he came from, they knew better to affiliate themselves with this dude, you know, that's bogus, right? Because
now, a motherfucker with logic, right? A civilian, they gonna say, damn, you mean to tell me if I'm facing 20 to life and I know this motherfucker over here did it, and I go do this time without telling on this man right here so I can say I'm upstanding, I'm a gangster, so forth. That's idiotic. Why would I do that? I'm gonna tell on this motherfucker immediately. I'm gonna tell, right? You're gonna tell. No, he's the one that did it, right? You know what I mean? You're probably gonna write a statement and do the whole nine. But for a motherfucker that is a gang member, that is a self-proclaimed gang member, that shit don't fly. You break the rules. You can't change it up when it's convenient for you because they caught you and they didn't catch him. No, that shit don't work like that. You know, when you sign up to be a gang member, when you sign up to be on any of that type of shit, this is what you have yourself. And I mean, to a motherfucker with logic, right? But you got to remember, when you start really gang banging or being around gang activity, you a young kid, right? You young, you influenceable, and you don't I don't think the brain, the brain doesn't really fully compute that this is the motherfucking shit you signing up for. You ain't even lived, you ain't even did nothing. All you know is this little shit right here, but you don't realize the world and life is so much bigger, so much greater. There's so much more ways for potential for you to be the person you meant to be. But yet we buy into it at a young age and we carry all them childish understandings into our adult years. And you know, those childish understandings are irrational to logic, right? You know, logically this shit is fucking, you know what I mean? Like you basically sipping poison. You basically eating food with poison every day, because when it comes down, push come to shove, I'll tell you right now, 8 out of 10 motherfuckers, I'm being generous, that are calling themselves gangsters, I guarantee in some of them predicaments, they ain't who they say they is. I can guarantee it. I'd put my motherfucking life savings on that shit because I done seen it. You know what I mean? There is no code in the streets, even though supposedly that's what we talk about is a code, right? There is no code. There is no integrity in the streets. You know what I mean? It's the law of the motherfucking jungle. And unfortunately, a lot. That's why we always see a lot of these motherfucking OGs that we thought were reputable or had, you know, notoriety in the 90s and so forth. Like we look at them and they crumble now. Like, you know what I mean? And you know, shit. A lot of these cats, you know what I mean? Even that's OGs, they still blind to the fact. You know what I mean? They can't pull themselves out of that shit because their identity is so far rooted in a gang or a hood or something that's how they wake up and they identify with themselves. That's kind of how they they keep themselves centered to who they think they are or who they supposed to be. But really, I mean, motherfuckers just caught up in some shit, because a lot of these motherfuckers ain't even got to be on that type of note no more. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker, you 50, 60, motherfucker, you ain't even out there like that. Like, motherfucker, come on, man, smack yourself and get yourself together. But, the cold reality is a lot of these young cats that are still being, introduced to gangsterism in the 2024s and 25s and 26s, they still think, hey, I can go out and be like this character from the 90s, or I can be this character off of Grand Theft Auto. But hey, when you sign up for this type of shit, you just sold your soul for a motherfucking jelly roll, in my humblest of opinions.
Because no one comes out the womb a gang member. We all have to start from somewhere. And it's not until we get caught up in the most difficult situations, and the way we deal with those situations is what truly validates us as real gang members or not. You can't use the excuse that, oh, this dude came from wherever he came from, and so he wasn't a real gang member, because you have many gang members who come from the so-called trenches, so-called projects, so-called rough streets, ghettos, whatever, right? And they go to court and they tell as well. So are you going to try to say that they wasn't real gang members just because they came from places that may have been low income or considered places that produce gang members? So of course, once again, the argument that I'm making is the only thing that truly determines whether a person is a real gang member or not is how he deals with adversity. If he stays down, if he stays to the codes and the ethics that he chose for himself. Once again, like I said with 6ix9ine, 6ix9ine's reasoning was, the reason why he told is because you had members of his gang wanted to kidnap him, members of his gang trying to have sex with his baby's mother or whatever, and doing all these things that he considered unloyal. If those things had never happened, he would have found another reason to tell. You know why he really told? Because he had 100 million reasons to tell, and those 100 million reasons were his bank account or whatever he had in his bank account. See, when you accept the rules of the street, it's not contingent upon what somebody else done. You're not gonna say, okay, well, I won't tell as long as Chill, Johnny, Mikey, and David don't tell. Whenever you join a gang, you join by yourself. It's not a package deal, right? When a person
This is the same shit I was just talking about right here, and this is the coldest kicker. The coldest kicker of the equation is that a motherfucker really will find the reason why. And if you in the streets or any of that shit like that, you supposed to be with your eyes open, expecting unloyalty. You know what I mean? Motherfucking, a snake is a snake is a snake, right? I mean, I don't give a fuck how cute it looked as a baby or whatever it is. When that motherfucker grow up, it's gonna bite you. And that's what majority of motherfuckers in the streets and motherfuckers out there that even live by that code. Because in the Bible, right? The Bible itself says you cannot serve two masters at one time. So that means you can't serve good and evil. You can't straddle the motherfucking fence. You know what I mean? You can't play both sides of the equation. If you play both sides, if you was a blood and a crip, you would be a buster, right? That's what a motherfucking buster is, right? So if you're not gonna be a buster, you can't play good and bad. So either you on the good side or you on the bad side, and you gotta pick your side. And I guarantee the motherfuckers that pick that other side other than the good side, those motherfuckers right there, anything goes. I mean, shit, you know what I mean? If you do this, you would do that. And for me, you gotta have your eyes open to this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I keep a small circle of my motherfucking self. And one of my worst mistakes ever of getting out of prison, my worst mistake ever was being green to the motherfuckers I kept around me. You feel me? I thought the motherfuckers that I met in prison that I was cool with, that we had a fellowship, brothership, you know what I mean? Get back out here to this world, I think they still the same, but nah, these motherfuckers is totally somebody different. And hey, maybe I am as well, but I tell you right now, at the end of the day, motherfuckers have no loyalty or no I guess that's really what it comes down to. Loyalty. They have no loyalty to anybody but themselves. You feel me? Like, this is a selfish world we live in. And you kind of got to be like that. You know what I mean? You kind of got to be selfish to self in a lot of ways, in my opinion. But, you can't cross the next man just when it fits comfortably for you. You feel me? Or when you see an opportunity, but a snake is a snake though, right?
Chooses to live his life and abide by certain values that gang members hold in high regard. You are making that choice for yourself. Do you think that when I got locked up, my former or my so-called homeboys didn't slide past my girlfriend's house and try to do things that was inappropriate or things that I felt was disloyal or things that I felt that a homie shouldn't do? Yeah, of course. You think the homie slid past my mom's house and offered to cut the grass or sent me money as often as I would like to send money or made themselves available for my phone calls and things of that nature? No, you know what I'm saying? And so those are the things that, we unfortunately sign up for when we hop into the gang, right? So if every gang member could make an excuse, well, the only reason I'm telling is because my homies disappointed me in some way or another, we'd all be telling, right? And once again, it just goes to show that everybody who claims they're a gang member is not going to stick to the values of a gang member.
When I got locked up, right, when I was in the county, I fought my case for almost like a year and a half before I got shipped to the pen. And while I was in that county, right, motherfuckers would be saying, hey, Woozy, man, I heard you got locked up, or, when I call or some shit, believe me, I was calling on my own dollar, right? I would call or I talked to my mom and she'd be like, yeah, so-and-so came by. He want to know about you. He wanted some CDs out of your CD collection or, some weird shit like that. And it always fucked me up, right? Because I did 11 and a half years, right? And motherfuckers that I deem friends or motherfuckers I roll with on the streets, you think they sent me any bread? Fuck no. You know who kept money on my books? My mama. Do you think anybody else family-wise did that shit? Hell no. They were selfish in the same nature. So, at the end of the day, the shit you signing up for, the motherfuckers that you show loyalty and, you will ride or die for, you better really hope them motherfuckers really will. Because when push come to shove, you might be in for a motherfucking surprise. Because at the end of the day, even with your family, all you really got is God. God is like the only source or energy that will never, ever, ever change on you or forget about you or forsake you. You feel me? Like there's really only one, and that's God. That's why your relationship with God, in my opinion, should always be the best relationship in your life. You feel me? Because the motherfuckers you hang around, you kick around and all that shit, man, these motherfuckers are jokers right here. And a lot of y'all are just wasting y'all time being around a lot of these motherfuckers. If you a young cat and you watching this video and your homies is on that type of time, and that's what type of time y'all stay on, like get a new group of friends, seek motherfuckers out on the internet, look for a mentor, motherfucking surround yourself with people who you see growing and evolving and motherfucking going somewhere and doing something with their life, because the route you take in this gang shit, in this street shit, it's gonna lead to your ultimate destruction and demise. And believe me, there ain't no restart, there ain't no hit continue. When motherfuckers get behind these walls right here, it can be over for a lot of you motherfuckers. You might not even have a life sentence. It might be over for you though, just as soon as you get behind these motherfucking walls. And don't let you get that elbow. Don't let you get them football numbers right there. Cause then what happens then? Then what? But motherfuckers is so loyal to shit that's so loyal to shit that's so unloyal. You know what I mean? Basically being loyal to the wrong shit. We all got that real strong loyal. If you a soldier, you really got that real loyalty in you, right? If you really a trooper, right? You really got some real loyalty into you, but you be loyal to the wrong shit. So find the right shit to be loyal to. You feel me?
Remember when they get caught up in a situation where law enforcement can potentially take them to jail, right? So yeah, man, I just thought I'd share that information with y'all. You already know who it is. It's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.